Nova's just jumped on and she says, "Kia ora, Wyndi, Aaron and Adrian." And now my husband's asking a question. Give me a sec. Just go into the Facebook page. Oh, yeah. We're already live, by the way. All right. Kia ora e te whānau. Ko tai mai nei ki te tautoko i tēnei kaupapa. E kore e mimiti ngā mihi tēnā tātou katoa. So welcome everybody to our Facebook live session today. Before we kick off though, I'd like to open us up in karakia. So me noi tātou. Whakatake te hau ki te uru, whakatake te hau ki te tonga, kia mā kene kene ki uta, kia mā taratara ki tai, e hi aki ana te ata kura, he tio, he huka, he hauhu, tihei, mauri ora. All right, kia ora. So welcome to our Facebook live session this afternoon, where we're talking about what level 2 looks like for businesses. So as we're speaking today, look, if you do have any questions, please do pop them in the comments box and we'll happily try to answer them as we go along as best we can. So no doubt you will have seen yesterday that the government announced that as of 11:59 p.m. tomorrow, we'll be going to alert level 2. What that basically means is that more of our SMEs are going to be able to open. But there are definitely some guidelines around these that you may have seen. And there are some of our businesses that may not be able to open yet, like our bars. Our team at We Accounting have been really trying to help small businesses throughout this time just to navigate these trying times. And we've been doing that through our Facebook Lives, like this one today, through our free webinars, our coaching and advisory. And we've been working with these two handsome gentlemen who I know have done a lot of work over the last 7 or so weeks to get their businesses ready. And I really felt like today would be a really good opportunity for us to share some ideas and some tips, some of the things that they've been doing and how they've prepared for alert level 2, and maybe you can get some tips that might be able to help you, especially when we're talking around making sure that people are safe and we're adhering to those safety guidelines as well, but also just around processes and procedures and the different things that you're doing and you can do. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Wyndi Tangi. I'm one of the co-founders of We Accounting. I'm also a business coach and I am a mum. And I would love to introduce you today to these two gentlemen that are with me. Just give me a second. Now I can't find my mouse. My mouse has just decided that it doesn't want to show me where it is, which is fantastic. Don't you love that? There we go. Cool. So who we have with us today is, so we've got Aaron. So Aaron is one of the 3 directors of Toki Recruitment. He is a newly formed labour hire company specialising in civil infrastructure and construction recruitment. Toki has been trading only for like 12 months now. So they started in May 2019, and I can tell you they definitely have been, made some leaps and bounds over the last 12 months. And they've also been winning some contracts with some of New Zealand's largest civil infrastructure and travel management companies. So Aaron has over 18 years of recruitment experience working for large global and Fortune 500 companies. His positions have included consultant, general manager, and everything else in between. So we're really fortunate to have you with us today. Thank you so much, Aaron. And we We also have with us today Adrian. So Adrian is the co-founder of the Gentry. He's also a father to 3, and he's been cutting hair since he was at boarding school back in 1990. Does that tell us a little bit about how old you are? So he's been cutting hair all around the world, and some of those places have been China and Australia and London. He operates a shop at the moment on Shortland Street, and just coming out of lockdown, he's going to be opening up a second shop in Commercial Bay. He's really passionate about helping and barbering and growing great teams. So just want to welcome you as well, Adrian.
Cheers. Thanks, guys. Nice to be here.
All right, so let's cut into it. And again, I don't know where my blinking thing's gone. Okay, we'll just do it this way. Cool. So, Aaron, I know that you've been back in business since we went to level 3, but I wonder if you can share with us what you've done over the last 7 or 8 weeks while you've been in isolation to prepare for you getting back into business, and maybe even talk a little bit about, is there a difference for you between level 2 and level 3?
Yeah, thanks, Wyndi. Yeah, I guess for us, first of all, there's a little bit of a difference between level 2 and level 3. We've currently have around about 100% of our staff working as of last week during level 3. The biggest difference is we've only been able to sustain the business that we have. So we've had a few, I guess, clients in our pipeline to bring on board in terms of new sales. That's going to have to wait now, perhaps even to level 1. But I guess for us, it was around a few things when we went into lockdown. It was around, first of all, our staff, the uncertainty that they were going to go through, and being able to address that and then communicate what our steps were going, just so that they know that, look, hey, we're there for them. They're not going to be losing their jobs, and we're going to keep them in the loop every step of the way. So communication was a big one, and then the next one for us was around our clientele. We felt that they're going to want a company that is safe, understands all the different requirements at each level around COVID-19, has processes and policies in place. So the speed of communicating that and showing our clients what we have in place was really important. So we moved on it very quicker than actually a lot of our clients, but definitely a lot faster than our competitors as well. So we wanted to, put our front foot forward on that part, so that when it does come time for our clients to, I guess, open up their businesses and for us to turn back to work, they were assured that we had everything in place. Our staff were safe and they were going to follow processes and policies. And then I think on that is really around how we're going to keep our business afloat financially. And so, thanks to the accounting, I was meeting with with the accounting, our banks, and other financial advisors, just to really see what we could do to move money around. And I guess the main thing was, what is our cash flow going to look like? First of all, over the next month, we look at over the next month for the lockdown period, that's 3 months. And could we survive 6 months, no business? And that was our aim. We had, can we survive as a business 6 months? If we could, then we'd be in a good position. So that's really been our core focus. And that really generated a lot of phone calls and a lot of work, especially because everyone's trying to, it's hard getting a hold of people, banks, IRD. Everyone was wanting the same type of advice. But, at the end of the day, we got there and, we're happy in the position that we're in right now.
Yeah, that's cool, Aaron. You guys did move really quickly because you guys were doing policies before we even went into lockdown. So just a question then, how do you, maybe for someone that is not policy orientated or doesn't even know where to start with that, how did you start? Like, what did you go to? Where, were there links or websites that you went to, or did you already have some templates? What did you use to help you to be able to form your policies?
We use the COVID-19 government website as the main structure, actually for everything, and that became our base to work off. But along the way, because we were sharing our information straight away with our clients, they were sending us back their information as well, what they were doing in their business. So there was kind of a sharing of information around COVID-19. We don't really see it as for us to hold back those policies from anybody really. What we wanted to show is, look, this is something that we're all in. So if we can all learn from it, from each other, we're all going to feel safer, I guess, working together. That was kind of our main aim.
I think that that's something we're probably going to start seeing more of, is this collaboration between businesses and maybe a little less competition, but seeing how can we actually work together and what can we be sharing, and having that abundance mindset that there is a lot of work out there. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely. I don't think it's a situation where you use it as a competitive edge. It's more of the whole country is in this position, so we want to try and get back to some normality. So it's working together. Yeah, definitely.
So Adrian, how is that going to work with you? I mean, I don't really know how competitive the barbering industry is, but quite frankly, a lot of the things that you're doing in your business, it would probably be quite good for you to hold on to, or your what do you call it, like all of the stuff that you do, because you do things that a lot of barbers don't do, but you're not like that. You love to share. You have this abundance mentality. So what does it look like in barbering around that collaboration and working together?
Oh, look, I think if you're open-minded in that, the answers and the communities there to share. I've been fortunate enough to, I think, from my networks and my experience in the industry, to be able to tap into people within the industry. But I felt that we were already doing a lot of those things ourselves pre-lockdown, because there's a big thing about hygiene in our industry that we need to work with to make our clients, feel safe in that. And so we'd already instilled those practices. And it was really interesting to see some of the people I really look up to in the industry overseas doing similar things and promoting things on their websites, on their Instagram feeds and that. So, yeah, look, they say there's a brotherhood out there, but we go to these gigs and everyone's kind of in their cliques and their sets, and no one really likes to mingle. But I'm probably one of those dudes that does get out and share it, and yeah, happy to share ideas, and I just think that way we're richer for it, aren't we? We're the lesser without it. Yeah.
I thought you were trying to tell me, is it noisy? No, I had stuff on mute. One of the things that Aaron was talking about was the, understanding the financials and what business looks like next month and the next 3 months. And I know it's very difficult to do in this climate because you're not really 100% sure. Are we going to stay in lockdown level 2? Are we going to then go to 1? We're going to go back to 3? Do we end up back at 4? It's so hard to know. But I know that you've done a lot of work around this too, Adrian, around having a look at what what might the next month look like. How much money do you need? Do you want to talk us a little bit around what sorts of things that you've done in that space to ensure that you have things ticking over, or at least have insight or foresight into your numbers?
Yeah, look, we're lucky that we use a online booking system, which gives us a lot of sort of depth in terms of data, and we staged our sort of reopening of that online book in 2 stages. We opened it up to our VIPs last week in anticipation of Thursday, and we were glad that yesterday's announcement proved that call the right one. So we'd already filled up the first 7 days with all of our VIPs. And as soon as she made the announcement yesterday, an email went out to the other 1,500 or so clients on our database to let them know not only that we're opening, but what our policies were going into level 2 and what they can expect in terms of our sort of hygiene standards and that. Well, now overnight we've had about 300. Well, when I woke up this morning, there was like 300 bookings made yesterday and overnight, and so that secures us for the next 4 weeks. And they're all prepaid. I set up an online payment platform so that we can reduce contact. And so it's nice to nail that one. And now it's up to us to really tap into our clients when they're here, and not only do what we love to do, which is look after people, but find out what level 2 looks like for them, in terms of occupancy rates in the offices, because that will have a big impact on us if they're down by 50%, which is what I'm hearing. Yeah,
I just really want to applaud you, Adrian, because I've had the phone call. Actually, I had a phone call about 3 weeks ago from my beautician about my monthly appointment, and she booked me in for tomorrow afternoon. But she literally rang everybody to make those bookings, and then she rang me again today and said, so I cannot meet you now tomorrow, but how about we book again? And so she spent all this time ringing all of her customers to then have to ring them all back and rebook them all. However, you've created an online booking system. People can go in and book themselves. You had taken into consideration what had been happening in some of the conversations in this whole 48-hour time frame that generally the government had been going with, but then you took it one step further and people paid you online, so you now don't have to worry about getting paid on the day. So that's cash handling you don't have to worry about. So from a safety perspective, that's really awesome. But also you've been able to bring in a whole bunch of cash into your business that a lot of business owners level 4 and level 3 weren't able to do. So well done to you.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you. Yeah, it was a real relief actually to see some coin coming in. It made all the difference. And the feedback, the resounding feedback from clients is they love it. And they're like, keep it that way. I'd rather pay online when I book my booking. So that's a win-win for us. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so many people are looking at COVID-19 as a bad thing. And don't get me wrong, there are definitely some bad things that have happened out of COVID-19. But there's definitely been some opportunities, especially for businesses, around how to pivot and what best practice might look like going forward. So, Adrian, what does that look like in the construction industry?
Yeah, I mean, we're a bit different. I mean, we actually went into this industry because recruitment is quite a large industry, and goes across every industry in the country. We went into civil, especially civil infrastructure, because it's around council contracts. It's not really around how well a economy is doing. It's around infrastructure that's required. So it still does quite well in a recession, and our business model is so that it survives a recession. In construction, the biggest, I guess, challenges for construction companies are still around supply. We still get, I think, around about 30 to 50% of supplies for the industry from China. I know that that's opened back up now and boats are coming through, but it's going to slow down the construction industry. That means although there's projects that they want to get off the ground, it's going to be around the raw material that's required and whether they can get access to that. So we're still waiting to see what that's going to look like. It's some construction, a lot of construction companies have started to go back to work, but it's definitely not work as normal. Civil infrastructure, though, they're back on board. So they're back to the road. It's the best time for them to build roads because there's not many cars on it.
Yeah, I think it's really important to have a look at your business at the moment and think about how you can make it essential. So how can you be needed and still used even in the trying times, like what you said, making sure that if we're going through a recession, that you can still trade, which I think is really important. Because we are probably going to end up in a recession potentially coming up, if you listen to all the economists, and things are actually going to get worse rather than get better. So what are you doing to ensure, and you've talked a little bit about something, is there anything else that you're doing to ensure that if we do hit a recession, when we hit a recession, that you're covering as many bases as you can?
Yeah, I mean, for us,
Sorry, Aaron.
For me? Yeah, for us, I mean, we're pretty aggressive in our approach. We feel that it really comes down to summer, which is our peak period. If it's a soft summer, then we're going to have a hard following winter. And that's how the economy is going to drag. So we've looked at our competitors in terms of, and identified some of our competitors, some of the accounts that we want to win, how we're going to win their staff over. It's gotten to that point at the moment. And we've still got a pipeline that we're working through as well. So trying to convert some of those pipelines. We've battened down some of the hatches and have looked at converting some of our clients with preferred supplier agreements, so we're their own supplier. And I guess the other thing is just really looking and watching our budget and our spend. Our aim is to have aside around about 6 months of operating costs just to the side. So if we do go through recession, we have some time and lead in time to keep on trading and keep on finding a way to really come through the other end.
Yeah, I think that's something that business owners hopefully have learnt through COVID is, gosh, that politician, I don't remember her name, but, she made a bit of a comment about it, about businesses should have money in the bank and all that sort of stuff, which we know is not always not all business owners are able to do that. But if you are able to have money, for, even 6 months is awesome. If you can have 6 months worth of money sitting in your accounts to help you last to get through that, then that would be great. And I guess, like you were saying, watching your budget and your spend is something that can definitely aid you in making sure that you've got that money sitting in your back pocket just in case you need it.
Yeah, well, we feel it's a longevity game. Sorry, we feel it's a longevity game against our competitors. We want to be in it longer. We want them to close their doors because of the financial pressure.
I agree. I totally agree. So, Adrian, is this a time for you to be looking at your competitors as well? And, you've got this new system and, I'm thinking my son who doesn't come to you, so my husband comes to you, he's already booked in, he's very excited. But my son, he is 15 years old, got another one who's 18, and they just want to get to a barbershop as soon as possible. And I'm like, good luck with that, because you're going to probably be waiting in a very long queue. So, is this a time so for you to be trying to look at your competitors and using how you've pivoted in your business over the last few weeks to try and gain, a bigger market share? You muted yourself.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? I have been looking at some of our biggest competitors and how they're moving to online booking. That's a real like sea change for them. This is guys who have been in the game 20 years and have said, nah, we're not going there. We don't want to be like a salon. We just want traditional, you know, roll up, sit on the chair. Well, these guys are so busy now that you can wait for up to 2 hours on a Saturday. And in the end, they either keep clients because of their, you know, low price, or they lose clients because people are time poor and don't want to sit there on the bench Monday to Friday all that long on a Saturday. So they're moving to online booking, which was a big deal, I thought. And other barbershops are going to have to, otherwise you're going to have dudes wait, you know, lines down the street like Pack and Say, but outside the barbershop on Thursday, you know, as everyone social distances and they're waiting to get a haircut. So yeah, what else is our guys looking? There's a lot around the community in terms of some of the industry leaders, and they're all about coming up with sort of everyone's doing hand sanitizer. So these guys are branded up like cool sanitizer. You can put, you know, spray on, put it there. It's got the barber stripes on it. You know, there's some cheeky like smart guys like that, but I'm pretty happy with how we're tracking. I know what's going to work for us, and I'm kind of pleased to, you know, sort of be out the front. That was always my mantra right at the beginning of all of this, was we just need to lace up and put our running shoes on, because we don't know how long this tsunami is going to hit us for, but we need to be there on opening day, and we've done that. And we're fit, we're ready. My boys are ready to just, you know, go hard, and we've got a full book. So yeah, I do look at them, but I can't be obsessed with looking at them too long, because I've just got to keep moving. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. There's one thing to keep an eye on your competitors, but sometimes by watching them a little too closely, you can lose track of where you're trying to head yourself. So you've got to be really careful when you do that as well. I totally agree. So what does your health and safety look like, Adrian, because you're going to be in close contact with people? So is your team going to have to wear the full PPE gear? Like, what does that look like to you, and, you know, your health and safety policies that you've given out to your clients?
We'll be wearing masks, and that's because of our close proximity to clients. We won't be wearing the face shields because we're not working in front of our clients. We won't be doing beard trims and all of that stuff.
Sorry, that was to you, Adrian.
Was that to me? Yeah, I'm talking, right? Oh, was that? Yeah, we won't be doing beard trims.
Have I lost connection?
I've got you.
Yeah, I've got you.
I can see Aaron and Wyndi.
Was that for me, Wyndi?
Did you guys just lose me? Did my internet connection just drop?
No.
No.
Were you asking me that question around health and safety, or
Am
Adrian?
I back yet?
Yeah. Yes, you are.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was that for me or for Aaron? She's lost us.
Oh.
She's nodding, but can you hear us?
Sorry. Yes.
So health and hygiene and all that stuff for us. Yeah, PPE here, regular hand washing, and all of that. What's going on?
My internet connection is having a mare.
Oh. I feel your pain.
I know. The joys of working from home and kids being on the internet.
Oh, you're back.
Sorry, Adrian, did you finish? Thanks.
No.
Going.
Yeah. So yeah, for us is I think the key one for us though is knowing who our people are. They come into the shop, and the boys asked today, would we be taking walk-ins? And I said, well, you know, can we, like, you know, in terms of contact tracing, because we get a lot of tourists around here. There's also a hotel up around the corner that's one of the isolation ones for the government, and unless we're going to be able to trace a lot of these people, then I said, no, we're just looking after the people that we know right now. Sort of the basic hygiene principles that we're seeing everywhere else. We'll have sanitizer at all the stations. Everyone's, prior to lockdown, we're asked to wash their hands upon entry. No waiting area. They've been asked to wait outside in their car or next door in the foyer lobby area, and just that sort of stuff. So we're not doing the big face shields. There was some suggestion from the head of the New Zealand Hairdressing Association that we would be wearing hair nets and the shoe cover thing, the paper socks that go, paper slippers, but no, I don't think so. But yeah, that's one area I've been disappointed with, actually, is the leadership in the industry from those people, just not really being in touch with what's happening, or actually not really being that visible to any of us. And when I went to their website, I'm not a member of the Hairdressing Association, but they said we've got all these COVID-19 business continuity plans, templates, but only for members. And I thought that was a little bit stink, like this is a time when everyone's sharing all that they can online to help each other through, and these guys are sort of ring fencing it. So we just take our own lead, really, and like I say, I talk to a lot of other shop owners, and we're smart enough, we can figure it out. Yeah. Plus, like Aaron, reading the government website stuff too, that's been really helpful. Yeah. Around it.
Is there anything that you need to do differently, Aaron? Like, is there like a maximum number of people that are allowed to work on a site? And also about health and safety, like my thinking is one person doing a job might be safe in terms of COVID-19, but actually might not be very safe in terms of the actual physical health and safety. Like if they need someone else to hold something up to be able to drill it in or something, like how get around that?
Yeah, I think health and safety in general. Most companies have their standard policies and procedures around that. We do as well. So when COVID-19 came up, it was in addition to that. So we've added it on to our health and safety. That's really been about it. Our main thing is keeping in contact with our clients. We've got an assessment that we do with them around how they perform in their health and safety and what are they doing with COVID-19, and then ensuring our staff are going to follow those health and safety rules. So one of the things that we did was create a health and safety online assessment for our staff, and we told our clients no staff will go back into work until they have scored 100%. And all of those questions, it was multi-choice. All of the questions that we had on there was based on the government website, so it was all from Ministry of Health. And that way our clients, they feel confident in us and confident in our staff. But it was an open book test too. Look, the answers are right there. But it's one way for our staff for us to ensure that our staff knows what's going on. And then also one of those things is we do want them to bring up hazards on the workplace. And we are assessing our clients' sites as well. So we've got a response. It's just, I think, the biggest change is we've got a larger responsibility now to ensure that our staff are safe, because this is just so new, the health and safety.
Yeah, I've seen your online health and safety assessment. It seems sensible to have it open book because, they can always go to the government website if they need to at any time. But I think that's really good that you've prepared them. And so they understand that you understand and that you care about their health and well-being, but also that they understand for their own health and well-being and for those around them. So I think that's really important. So if we sort of talk a bit to that, like, have your staff roles changed at all, or because of COVID-19?
I think it's more around how they interact with other staff members now, with those restrictions in place. But it is in front of mind in terms of COVID-19, and we do expect them to even tell our client or their manager if they're breaking those restrictions, to let them know and to let us know straight away. Our attitude is no one wants to go back and down to lockdown or again alert level 4. So if we're all working on it together, then we can avoid those situations. So we had an incident right at the beginning, and we sent some people to work, and we jumped on it straight away. And our staff, they advised us of the situation, and it was dealt with quickly. So working so far.
Yeah, that's cool. Very cool. What type of leader do you think our employees need right now? So what sort of leadership do they need from employers, from their the business owners, do you think, through particularly these next few weeks, Aaron?
I think certainty and direction. Really in times that are uncertain. And we're talking about now, our staff are people that live week to week. They need some guarantee in terms of, am I going to have work next week and the week after? How we get through this? So, they do need some leadership that knows how to steer the ship and, where it's going, and this is the direction that we're going through to. And I think communication, the best leader to look at that is Cinda Ardern. She's the best when it comes down to comms. She's been communicating. She's direct and clear. We've really just tried to emulate that as well. Clear communications. This is our direction, and this is where we're going. Jump on board or get off. It's up to you. But if you're on board, you're on board.
And what do you think around, wanting to give some certainty and guarantees to staff when you don't have the certainty or guarantee for yourself? How do you navigate that space?
Well, you have to go get some certainty if you're the leader. You've got to know, really you've got to say, this is how we're going to do business. This is where we're going to get business from. And you've got to have some self-belief. I think that's one of the biggest things of being an owner is, you're always stepping out into the unknown, but you've got to have something in you that goes, if I go in this direction and I put my right foot forward, and then you do the research behind that, that backs those thoughts, then you have some certainty there around the steps that you're taking. A leader that just kind of closes their eyes and hidden hopes, that any good.
That definitely sounds like what I sent out to all of our business owners at WE. I said, this is not the time to bury your head in the sand and just hope like heck that you're going to get out the other side. You definitely can have some certainty if you go and look for it or plan for it, or looking at different scenarios. If this happens, this is what the plan is. If this happens, this is what the plan is. And I think, you could think that I'm a little bit, I don't know, thinking about all of the bad, but I think we do need to prepare for the fact that we could end up back at level 3 or even back at level 4. Hopefully we don't. And like you were saying before, if we're all in this together, and if everyone does their part, then hopefully we won't. But again, we still might end up in a recession, which is very similar to what we've just gone through. So having some plans in place for that. So Adrian, what about you? What have have the roles for your staff? And also maybe something to talk about is, I know that during lockdown you had your staff doing policies, updating websites, doing training materials. So are you going to continue doing some of these things that you've gotten your staff to do while in lockdown after lockdown?
Oh yeah, it's I think it'd be silly to go back to the old way of wearing all the hats. I've enjoyed taking off a few portai and giving it to this fella and another one to that guy. And yeah, you're right. Social media, the website design, that stuff. I'm happy to pass that on, and I've got some young, energetic guys that are really passionate about that stuff. So they're really keen to start running with it. it was just how do I keep them engaged and how do I keep them busy? And I started hearing in our weekly check-ins on Zoom that they were getting bored by week 2. So once I gave them a few little things to do that I know that they're keen about within the shop, like they really, you know, they appreciated it. It got their head out of the couch or whatever they were doing, you know. So yeah, that was a good way, and also just for me, an opportunity for me to check in with them individually once a week as well and have a chat. And I found that those chats would, yeah, I'm doing my check-in, sussing them out, but he's also coming back to me with, yep, I'm nearly finished on this, but then we just open it up and have more conversations. So I'm big on knowing who my guys are, and I'm also big on comms. I agree with Aaron, like, you can have all of that other stuff, certainty and all of that's really important, but then you need to deliver it. And so I felt that, yeah, those sort of weekly check-ins with my boys were valuable. But yeah, I certainly won't be taking back any of those roles. They're yours now. You can have them. Well, it allows me to do the other stuff, you know. And during this period, when we talk about leadership and that, I've found that I can't do it all, and I have traditionally in the past. But man, I've had the time and enjoyed the time, but to think about the big picture. And that's what we as business owners need to do, right? But when you're stuck down in all this sort of, you know, admin stuff, it's hard to get a clear view of what's ahead or try and, you know, chart your course. So I've had a lot of time to think about that. It's I've had some really great chats with clients of mine who are business owners that I respect, and, you know, then I can come back to my guys and say, this is where we're going and this is what's happening, and, you know, based on this stuff and my experience, I reckon this is how it's going to unfold for us. So yeah, offloading those responsibilities have allowed me to sort of explore the other stuff that's needed to get through this.
What's that done for your staff to be able to offer up tasks that they actually have got and that they can be exploring and doing other things as well? What's that meant for them and maybe the camaraderie of your team?
It's like anything, you know, management is like it's like you watch other people do a worse job than what you would do, you know, or something. So there's a lot of chat about it. There's a lot of back and forth, and some of the feedback's been a little bit, you know, harsh at times, but we're good. You know, we're all good. We're good mates. We have a good chat about it, and it's made me see talents inside them that I'm like, wow, okay, this is going to be really valuable for us as a brand going forward. And I think it's important that it's not just my voice on everything, but also their voice. So yeah, I don't know. I felt like a school teacher sometimes, like chasing up homework. But that's management, isn't it? That's what it's like being a boss, chasing up homework. Yeah.
I'm pleased to hear that, because I know that some of the other customers that we coach had similar problems. So
yeah.
If you're watching, it's not just you.
It was important for me to do that, and it, you know, like to take that advice to get them on board, get them involved, and give them a sense of ownership as well. And I think that really has been the biggest thing for me, is they all have this new found sense of ownership, not only within what happens in the shop, but within the greater sort of brand that we are. So yeah, that's been a big win.
Yeah, that's cool. So look, I'm wary of the time, and we've got time coming up soon. So Aaron, is there anything else that you want to talk about? Anything else that you've done over the last few weeks? Maybe some tips that business owners could be utilizing as they go into alert level 2?
I mean, we're staying very positive, and we're looking at the situation as an opportunity. We understand that it comes down to our competitors. They're in the same situation, and how they respond is going to be, everyone's going to respond differently. And those people that are freaking out and not knowing how to get through this, you know, they're the businesses that are going to be in trouble. You know, we've grown our brand, and I think this is a really good time to do that, is to continually grow our brand and really set yourself apart from your competitors. And we haven't had to recruit because of the lockdown, but we've had our competitors' staff approaching us for work. And so we haven't had to go out and get it. That's all around our brand and reputation in the marketplace at the moment. So yeah, that's my, I guess, last thought is stay positive and see this as try and find the opportunity. You never know where they're going to come from.
So true. And what about you, Aaron? Adrian?
Yeah, no, I really agree with what Aaron says on some of those points, and I was always about trying to look for the positive out of this, or hey, what's my opportunities here, and that, and I've had 3 barbers emails from barbers approaches for positions over the lockdown, and I'm like, whoa, this is crazy. Like when it rains, it pours, right? So yeah, I've put them all on hold and said, let's catch up, in June. I'm not looking, but I'd like to stay in touch. And they're like, we really love the chance. There's been a resounding tone, like really love the chance to work with you. Heard about your new shop and blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, that was the last thing I expected, right? People coming looking for a job. I guess, yeah, it's just forced people to think outside the square. But for me, I'm just really, I'm feeling positive about where we're going, and I don't know exactly what the next 6 months will look like. My guys ask me, "What's it going to be? What's it going to be?" I'm like, this is very general, but we'll be okay. This is what we need to do to get there, and I feel lucky for that. It'll be tough though, but I think if we've done the work beforehand, like many of us have that have been in touch with you guys, then that gives us all the confidence to, ride this out. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. I think one of the things that we've seen is the businesses that are doing well are the ones that have got the plan in place, that have thought through what it might look like, that know exactly where they stand, that keep track of their cash flow and what's coming in and what's coming out, and leaning up the businesses and just seeing what actually can I cut. Is this really a necessity? And, a lot of businesses and even us, we're looking at, what do we look like in the next, 3, 6, 12 months? And, do we go more remote because we've been able to? Is that what we do? So I think a lot of business owners are thinking about what the future might look like. And you touched on it as well too at one stage, Aaron, about that there's just, you don't really have a choice, that you have to find a way, like that longevity game, and thinking about sustainability. And if you've got a whole bunch of staff that are depending on you, and we talk about this a lot, right? You have a staff member, you creating jobs for them, but it's a ripple effect. You're helping them, they're helping their families, they're helping their communities. And so we know that a lot of people are going to lose their jobs still to come over the coming months. But whatever we can do around that longevity and the sustainability means that our people can be assured of an income, or at least they've got some sort of guarantees. And yeah, as a business owner, that's our role as a leader, to ensure that we can do what we can. Yeah.
I think every industry, there's a way to get through like recession. So for us in recruitment, pre-COVID-19, we could go out and get a lot of business, but it was hard to find people. Yeah. So that was our challenge. Now, post COVID-19 or during it, now it's easier to find people, quality people, but it's going to be tougher for us to get those sales or bring those clients on board. And I think once you understand what that climate looks like for you, then you can plan around it. And every industry is going to have their thing around a recession on how they get through. So it's trying to figure out or understand what it looks like.
Interesting.
So one of you want to talk about maybe the mindset shift that potentially is going to have to occur for people to stop thinking, I just want to go back to normal, and trying to revert, trying to continue their business models as it used to be, and are not seeing that actually they just need to make some changes, and that if they make some changes and pivot slightly, then actually their business could flourish and thrive, come out of this better off than when they first came in.
Yeah, well, there is. I think that if there's one thing that's certain is that the change is going to happen and it's going to occur, and it's these big decisions have been made for us going into level 2, like how we do business already and how we socialize. So for us, we've adopted change, and I've said that to the boys right from the start, that don't expect it to be the same, and don't expect it, even pre-lockdown, don't expect it to be normal, because there is no such thing as normal anymore. And we've seen that around the world. And if we do, if we deny that, then we'll end up in a real bad state, like some European countries or even in the States, where they denied the veracity of this virus, and it's just swept through. So businesses, this, and Aaron said it, I like it, I've done it too. I'm just trying to think of opportunities here, because that's what will set me apart from my competitors. How do we pivot, how do we look sharp? And I know that the feedback from emails that I've only sent 2 emails out, but the feedback's just been resounding. Like, they love to hear that what we're doing, what we're up to, and not everyone's doing it. Not all barbershops, not all people in our industry are doing it, but I think people want to be, what did someone say to me? You've got to keep your clients warm, stay in touch with them. Don't overdo it, but just stay in touch with them and let them know that you're there. And that's what I've got back off my comm. So there's one other shop doing it, and they're the ones I always look to, and he's an old mate of mine. We're at different ends of the market, but he does it really well as well. So not everyone's doing it, but just stay in touch, keep your clients warm. I
think embrace change, embrace it, and for us it was around speed of change. So can we adapt and change quickly? We're a small business, so we don't have the same restrictions, and we're finding even our clients, we're finding our big clients, we're finding it hard to implement all these new strategies that they have to get in place, and also our competitors. So what we want to do is come across as not only embracing the change, but be very confident in how we're embracing it, and communicate that out. That's put us out in front, and that's what we want to be. We want to be out in front.
Nice.
Yeah, guys, look, I just want to say thank you so much for being on this call today. When I thought about what we needed to talk about, I knew that with us potentially going into level 2 this week, that this is what needed to be discussed. And when I thought about who to talk to about these things, you two came front of mind, because I know that you guys have done a lot of work in this space, both teams, for your clients, just in general. So, and for yourselves. So, really well done. And what I love is that you guys are reaping the benefits of it. So, thank you so much again for being on this call with us today. Thank you so much for sharing and living in abundance, being happy to share what you've learned and what you've been doing. And so if anyone is watching today, if you've got any questions, pop the question box. There's lots of comments about just saying well done, guys, and just some key points that we've talked about today in the comments box. Ali said that he's really looking forward to his appointment on Monday, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in about half an hour, Aaron, for our catch up. So that's us today on our Facebook Live. What does level 2 look like? All the best to you all out there. I know that business owners are going to be working really hard, particularly over the next coming month, couple of weeks, just to get back in touch with customers and start delivering business and bringing in some cash. So once again, Aaron from Toki Recruitment, Adrian from the Gentry, thank you so much for joining me today.
Welcome. Thanks for having us. See you.
Welcome. All right,
Cheers.
everyone. Catch you soon. Mā te wā.
Mā te wā.
Ka kite.